Y'all know I love waxing and eyebrow waxing especially, so here's me performing an eyebrow waxing tint. Before any type of waxing, you want to examine your client's brows just to see where you will place the tint and how you will wax the brows. You will then clean off the brows with a gentle cleanser. I preferably use Satin Smooth, and you want to clean off both brows, okay? You want a clean canvas. Then I fold my cotton round in half. Just want to dry the area before I begin. I don't want anything wet. I take my mixing bowl and then I apply a pea size of tint inside of that bowl. Not only do I apply the tint, but I also apply the cream developer, and I put a little bit more than a pea size in there together. I mix up those two ingredients really good. This part is very crucial because you want to make sure those ingredients are mixed very well because it gives you the tint color that you will be putting on the client. I usually look for a light brown color. Once I get that color, I know to start. When I apply tint, I like to use two angle brushes, one to apply tint and then one to remove excess tint that's left on the skin. When it comes to me applying tint on the brows, I like to start off in the beginning, middle part of the brows. Why? Because I feel like the line that the brow hairs have underneath the brow allows me to follow the shape of the brow in order to place tint where it needs to be. When I'm applying tint, I don't like to apply a lot at once. I actually like to work my way in because the brows are supposed to be in a transition from light, medium to dark. Of course, the middle part of the brow where your arch is supposed to be the medium, and then the tails is supposed to be the darkest. And of course, we want the front of the brows to be natural as possible. When I am doing the tail of the brows, I like to kind of flip my angle brush to where the pointy part is facing downward because I like for the tail to be precise as possible. When I am trying to cover majority of the brow hairs, I like to pat tint in. I don't like to kind of sweep it away. I like to pat it in so it can stay there. People ask me why do I use two angle brushes. Of course, one is to apply tint and the other is to wipe away any excess on the skin. Once I feel like I have got enough tint on the middle and end part of the brow, I like to work my way in the front to make it more natural as possible, and that way I could take my time. I like to apply light strokes going upward in the front of the brow because that was the direction of hair growth that her hair was growing in. And plus, again, we want to have the brows to look as natural as possible and as light as possible. So that's why I create hair strokes with the tint going upward. And of course, if you have any tint on the skin outside of the brow hairs, you want to take that other angle brush that you really don't use like that and remove it that way. Like I always tell you in all my videos, once you do one thing, do the same thing to the other brow. When you have completed the tinting portion, look at the brows and make sure that they look just alike. And then you want to begin your brow wax. When waxing, apply a pea size of wax on the cuticle pusher. Make sure the flat part is faced towards you and drag the wax down according to the direction of hair growth. When applying the wax, make sure you are applying pressure to the stick onto the wax just to push the wax down into those hair follicles. Once you did that, place your strip directly on the brow wax lining and remove. So, do the same way you have applied the wax at the top of the brow to the bottom, okay? Make sure you are applying wax literally on that brow line, not on the brow hairs within itself. Place the wax wherever there are hairs at that does not need to be there. And take your time and just work the wax in. Once you do that, place that strip wherever you apply wax, apply pressure, hold taut, and remove. Then you want to take a dab of your tint remover and wipe away that tint that's on the brow that you tinted first, because that's the brow that's been waiting the longest. And you just want to keep wiping until there is no more tint residue left. I have left some hairs behind, so what I did was took a bit of wax and applied it where those hairs were. And of course with soft wax, you are only able to wax the area twice. So I applied it, applied pressure, held taut, and removed. I always like to brush the brow to make sure that I got everything I wanted to kind of be within the shape that I made. And of course, like I always said before, what you do to one brow, you want to do to the next. Now that I have completed the brow wax on the brows, it's time for me to remove that hair that's in the middle of her brows, giving her a unibrow, okay? So at this portion, I am applying the wax upward, okay? So that means I'm going to remove downward. And this also gives me the opportunity to clean up any other areas where tint or hairs need to be removed. Now that you have applied your wax, place your strip where you placed your wax and remove downward. And of course, on the areas where you have applied a little wax on the brow hairs, remove in the opposite direction and do the same to the other brow where you have placed wax at. Now that the waxing portion is done, go ahead and apply oil to a cotton round and wipe both brows clean. This is to ensure that wax is not left behind on the client's skin. You don't want them to have sticky eyelids or any type of residue left anywhere on their face. After removing the oil, you want to take your brow precision scissors and you want to cut off excess hair, okay? So what I like to do is take my mascara brush and brush the hair upward. This will allow me to see where I need to trim the hairs. I like to trim the hairs at the end of the brow because when you go too far into the brow and you try to brush the brows down, you will see that you will have hairs pointing up. That's just to let you know you trimmed them too low. So after I brush the brow hairs up, I always like to brush them down and trim. And then brush them in the desired shape that they were in before. And of course, once you do something to one brow, you want to do the same thing to the other. So do the same thing that you did on the first brow to the next one. After you have trimmed the brows, you want to go in with your precision tweezers and you want to hold top when you are tweezing the brows just so you won't pinch the skin and remove hairs in the direction of the hair growth. Okay? You only want to remove hairs that the wax did not catch. So if they are outside of your brow line, you want to tweeze them. Don't tweeze inside of your brow. And of course, once you do something to one brow, you want to do to the next. So go ahead and tweeze that next brow. This is my favorite part. I like to use a dark brown or ebony pencil to go in and fill in the brows after I am done tweezing. The reason why I like to fill in the brows with the pencil is because, of course, we all should know that tint never stains the skin by itself, only where there's hair. If there's not a lot of hair somewhere, the tint won't stain as dark. So I like to go in with a pencil to kind of fill in those areas where they are light. And as you can see, she has some light spots. So I'm just going in lightly with the pencil, and if I feel like it's too dark, I fade it out with my spoolie on the end. I love to go in afterwards with a razor not so much as taking off brow hairs, but lining up the pencil. Like if the shape of the pencil where I place the pencil at is not in its correct spot, I always just kind of razor down to give it more of a sharper, chic look. I love a concealer palette that has multiple shades. I take my angled and blending brush to use for concealing. I choose a color, and then I apply my angled brush lightly into the concealer. Once I have figured out a color, I always like to start off wherever I have placed that tint to line my brows with the concealer. For this portion, you always want to make sure that you are taking your time and going at a nice pace, because this is what's going to make the brows pop, okay? And if need be, keep going back over with that concealer that's already there to give it a more crispy outline. After concealing, you want to take your blending brush and you want to use the tip of the blending brush to fade away the concealer in a downward motion, okay? You can either fade it down or away, but you want to blend it into the skin until you really can't see the concealer anymore. Like I always tell you, of course, do the same thing to the other brow. After the blending is complete, you want to go ahead and touch up anything that you need to remove, conceal, or blend again. And there you have it, beautiful brows. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram at Wax Figure and Facebook Wax Figure LLC. And make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and press the bell to get notified for more videos. Thanks for watching.